0.5% right across the board. We're looking at weakness. Oil is the only thing really. 1.6% to the upside right now for crude oil. Some energy names. I mean, still all kinds of unrest over in the Middle East benefiting oil names.
Tough look. Brendo, gas obviously in the weekend took a big move up about 5 or 6 pennies depending on where you're living in this country. So we'll keep an eye on that. Apple in focus today getting a downgrade from Jefferies, basically saying iPhone 16 demand is overblown and the AI super cycle is maybe 2 years down the road. Also Amazon getting a bit of a downgrade as well. So we'll keep an eye on those Meg 7.
Every day someone thinks no one's going to buy an iPhone 16 and then wait for Apple earnings. This is all I have to say because that happens, or seemingly happens every year when they come out with a new one. All right, so give us your first opinion here on
Very
this.
cool. Okay, so there was it was flawless to one, basically until one incident, Brendo. So it was a stop sign. It wasn't a 4-way stop sign. It didn't know it wasn't a 4-way stop sign. So it started advancing like it thought everybody else had to stop, but that wasn't the case. It's coming out of Yorkdale, by the way, just in case. So I had to hit the brakes hard. But the good thing is it's very intuitive, very, very smooth. It understood not to block the intersection when we got to an intersection that was super crowded. So it knew that because $400 ticket, and if you do that in the city now. So good look there. I liked the braking, the acceleration, the turning. It changed signals. Brendo read the different exits that it had to go to. It knew that it had to make a left, make a right to get into that lane. So it was quite intuitive.
We had, what was his name? Captain Protein, who used to be with us. He's moved on to another job. But he had a Model 3. No, he had a Model Y with FSD. And he was telling me a story one time. He was coming across Wellesley here. And he got to the intersection with, I think it was Bay. And there's the dedicated bike lanes. And it couldn't determine whether or not to stay in the actual road or use the dedicated bike lane to continue through the intersection. So there is still some quirks to work out.
Just one final thing. I was recording, Brendo, and it saw me recording, and it got very displeased. So it shut the entire FSD off, said, no more FSD for the entire drive. And then when I got back to the dealership, shut it off, it gave me a little warning at the end. Stop using your phone.
So we'll get Sharif's video review coming up here later in the week for his experience with Tesla. A couple of headlines to touch on with Tesla this morning as well. Happy Monday, guys. Big week ahead here.
Yeah, happy Monday, everybody. Happy year if you're not a Bills fan, but that's okay. Look, obviously, Robotaxi is going to be in play. We'll talk about that a little bit more this week. You got bank earnings
Friday.
Starting on Friday, obviously. But you know what? You talk about EVs all you want. Oil's been the game, baby. I mean, XOM doesn't have a red day in a while. Fresh all-time highs over there. I feel like, we talk about things that are short till they're not. Why isn't that a long until it's not at this point? Every time I look at that chart, it's up more and more. Downgrades across the board for the big cap tech. I mean, XOM's only up 1 point today. This is what I'm sort of getting at with XOM. Like if you see this going on, the all-time high break was like right about here, 123.75 on the daily. So yeah, this is off to the races. We'll be talking all Mag 7, which I suppose downgrades are a bit of a thing. There is some weakness there, don't get me wrong. Although Tesla in 250 is still a thing. I feel like you just can't get away from this level, can't get away from 51, breaking it out right now. Like, you're now through highs. Ooh,
nice.
Thank you very much, Randy. Appreciate it. We got the banana,
I just got
the sharp shirt.
So that's good.
Apparently, I don't know if you heard about Sharif's test drive, but the FSD had some problems with some stops. Enough said.
I don't.
It's always coffee.
No, not for me. Not for me. I just got one.
Oh, word.
So thank you so much
still coffee
for that,
time.
Randy. We were just talking about XOM going upsides.
Oh, XOM's
we could talk more when we get some. You like Chevron now? Okay. Yeah. I was looking at XLE as well. I mean, look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like 7 straight up days here. So yeah, the market continues to rock and roll. Welcome again. It's 8:35. It should be another good day. I mean, the market's going to open up down here today. There's some negative stories. We talked about Amazon. Well, we will be talking about Amazon. They're down a couple here, but now starting to bounce actually a little bit back up to the upside here off of 183. I guess not too much. 183.75. I like Tesla today, as Neil mentioned there, at 250. Another key level. Apple just going through some of the names that Brendan maybe mentioned there, just in case you weren't sure of what they were up or down. Apple down 1% there today as well. Looking at the SOXL, SMH, AMD. So these names are the ones that are rocking one more time. They continued to lift this market up on Friday. We talked about where Nvidia was, where AMD was on Friday. I mean, look at this huge candle to the upside there from 160 up to 172.50. I think we continue to go even higher now on advanced micro devices. And then Nvidia is still not near that 130 yet, but that's going to be pushed in the next couple of days. There's an AI event all week. There's an Nvidia one early and an AMD one late. So we'll continue to watch out for these. But yeah, so far so good here as we look at this market. Oh yeah, that's right, the Nvidia split there. We're still waiting for 140. Still a lot of room to go, I feel like, to the upside. A lot of money on the sidelines. We'll see if they can come in places other than oil.
Yeah, this is that event getting underway today, in fact, for the next couple of days here, the Nvidia AI Summit in Washington. Whether or not we'll get any kind of significant headlines coming from that remains to be seen. Typically, anytime this company is involved and there's speeches involved, something interesting at least gets dropped for the overall market. But yeah, so NVIDIA's AI Summit today through the 9th, and then the 10th, of course, it's all about Tesla.
Oh yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Sean, the first thing he walked in and told me today, it's going to be a big week for Lisa Su. It's like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, there's an AI summit. Okay, got it. My mistake. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that, obviously, because we've been watching about the Blackwell demand, especially that dual Blackwell demand possibly being kicked back to more to 2025 rather than later this year. So we'll keep eyes on that. I want to hear about some of the other AI chip manufacturers and how much production they're able to squeeze out of Taiwan Semi, because we know Taiwan Semi is basically giving them the majority of their production capacity to NVIDIA. So keep tabs on that. We know last week as well, we got that environmental headline, Brendo, that allows to build foundries without the environmental impact assessment, which helps with turnaround times and costs.
They're going to need them in a hurry. I was going to show you this as well. This was, last week we were talking about this recall of the Cybertruck. It was only 27,000, but 27,000 Cybertrucks being recalled. They've come out and said, this is absolutely nothing. It's a software issue. There was a delay, I was reading, with the reverse camera. So that when you put the Cybertruck into reverse, the actual screen wouldn't pop up to show you the camera instantly. There would be a slight delay. So it's a simple software fix, apparently, anyways, for this Cybertruck issue. But yeah, as you were saying, guys, Tesla looking pretty good here.
Yeah, they all, I mean, whatever. Like, it's always just a software thing. So not the same as other recalls. Those headlines, I think you should just find another way to say it. But you're now through what was the brick wall all week that was at $250 level. More importantly, $251, I'd say. So this is going to set up sort of, you don't have to worry about where the key price is on Tesla. I think certainly it's to me, it's an over-under type of day. Like if we're holding above 250, specifically even that 251, I'm just looking long. If we lose it, you might have to lose 248. I think it's incredibly bearish there, but you know, Tesla was doing great volume. The gravity around that level was huge. I just feel like the room to break it away, there's 54 and 57. If you remember, when they had those delivery numbers come out, when you're watching the live level 2 and we were watching the tape, it was very clean through 57. The bid dropped to 54, and then when 54 dropped, it dropped to like 50 to 51. So I think through, as long as you're over this 250 level and hold it above, I think there's room to 254, and then 257 is kind of like where that shelf was. The top was 260, but the shelf was 257. And when it lost that bid, it was like dropping the bids $3. It did it a couple times on that delivery day. So I think there's room to get to that level here. I mean, obviously all bets are off when the event happens in a couple of days, because you know, if it doesn't go right, it could be a sell the news event. But for now, Tesla got above the resistance. Got to look for the long continuation over to try and fill in some of this gap.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla right now, we just put out the sticky note. Tesla is out here on that note. And I mean, I really like those levels coming through. Same ones today. So we'll be looking at that and taking these trades. So Tesla 250 long, watch out for a 252 break. That's what we've been sort of hovering around right now early on. Let's see if we can get through that 252. But I really like it there today. We just put the note out. We have Michael Noss coming out pretty soon here, but that's going to be what we're looking at. Just this little break Also, yeah, I mean, I don't know, just even on the 20-minute chart, I like trading key levels. 250 is going to be a key level, so we're there, right? It's just like when Apple's at that 225, when Nvidia, AMD's at 170 flat. You know, there's going to be some key levels that we like to see. So I like that 250. So we'll wait to see if we can get long there. I have a feeling we will. This name moves multiple dollars at the open pretty much every day. Whether or not there's, the jobs report or the market just opens up, like right here, 245 on Friday, all the way to 250 basically, and then back down to 245 again. So you travel up 5, down 5, $10. Then you take out the tops, then you make the bottoms again. So it could be a roller coaster ride for Tesla, and I expect more of that leading up to the event, but I think you want to stay long.
All right, as mentioned, Mr. Noss joining us on a Monday to give us a few ideas for the week ahead. And as we kind of teed things off here with, we're going to talk about energy and oil specifically. It's still holding on to decent gains. We're coming off in a hurry, still 1.24% right now for crude oil to the upside on the futures side of things. There he is. Happy Monday, Mr. Noss. How was your weekend?
So far, so good. Well, I guess it's over now, so I guess it was good. But how was your weekend?
Yeah, not long enough. Agreed.
I'm still working on my first coffee here. So
Yeah.
I'm booting up slowly this morning. We'll put it that way.
Same. Let's provide some narrative here from a technical standpoint, maybe on this energy move. We've all seen the headlines, and understand, the situation over in the Middle East and how that's affecting this market. But from a technical standpoint here, what are you seeing?
Yeah, so one of the benefits of my process being technical, so I avoid the headlines. I found out the headlines after I saw the charts, and usually the way it works for me, I've got my own little bubble here. So just to get started, we can start with the monthly chart of XLE, just showing that this has been, even though, right, we're seeing a news catalyst event right now, this has kind of been setting up for some time, right? I drew in a little ascending triangle on the monthly chart here in XLE. It's been doing a very good job respecting the lower trend line. Every time we get down there, we're met with buyers right away. And then every time we get up near this prior high that happened back in 2015 or so, we're met with sellers. So we're coiling nicely under resistance, which is, from a long-term standpoint, I remember kind of talking to you guys the same thing that was happening in gold a long time ago. If you find a very, very old resistance point, when a market gets up there, you almost want to see this occur. You want to see demand start to slowly chew through supply, people who are trying to short off that level to slowly prove wrong. And that coiling of energy can build for something that actually breaks out and does better. If the market moves straight up to an old resistance point and breaks through, I'm less interested. But this coiling action, this basing action that has happened under that resistance point is very, very interesting to me. Now, the next chart is a weekly chart, and this is, of course, what kind of caught my eye as I was going through my weekly process, scanning through all the different ETFs and sectors, that we had a very nice, strong weekly breakout, and I just highlighted there on strong volume as well. So this downtrend line has been holding all the way since May until now. We've been making these lower lows, lower highs. That was broken on volume last week. And again, for a breakout, this is exactly what we want to see. From a weekly standpoint, you can just put your stop under the prior low, and then if we're right and we break to those new highs, you have a great risk reward trade already. But let's get a little bit more fancy and kind of cute with it. So the next chart here is the daily chart for XLE, and could be slightly overextended on the daily chart. You see from the lows, we're up, I think, 6 or 7 days in a row with lower highs, all the way up to that prior resistance zone. Now, just like I mentioned, you generally want to see some sort of consolidation. You want to see a little bit of a pullback. You want to see something happen where we're not just going to break through that resistance zone kind of willy-nilly. You're going to see some sort of action that has us rest a little bit before we break through that. So a pullback, I'm going to be interested in. I'm going to watch this throughout the week. Ideally, in my perfect world, we go nowhere for the next 3 to 4 days. And then maybe on Friday when I'm talking to you guys, there's a breakout to get bought here. But I always need to bring an idea. And going through, I took a look at CNQ. It's the next chart here, Canadian Natural Resources. And not just because it's Canadian, but it showed up, and I don't know if this number is correct here, but it showed up on, the next chart there. It showed up with a 34.69 days to cover. Now, for those who don't know, again, days to cover is the amount of shares that are outstanding short, divide it by the average daily volume. So if every trade in CNQ was a buy, how many days would it take for all of these shorts to get out? Now, this can happen even though it's only about 10% shorted, because if it's a massive float, right? It's a big, big company. It's like $35 or $39 billion market cap. So it's a big company. But that just means there is short squeeze potential in a name like CNQ, which you can see is pretty correlated to what we're seeing in the energy space right now anyway. So I'm watching this one as well because we've had those 3 or 4 inside days. I'm watching this upper trend line. If we break through that upper trend line, these shorts could start to get worried. We have the monthly chart down below in the bottom corner. You can see we're pressing up right against all-time highs on this one as well. So this might be a name that if energy and oil continues, right, you need to get the natural resources somewhere, and that's what we do up here in Canada. So this might be a good name. I'm going to triple check that days to cover number. If that's legitimate, then that could be a good long-term squeeze. Again, assuming we break this downtrend, which I'm just representing with that downtrend line.
Float, 1.08 billion shares on outstanding float for CNQ. I had no idea, but yeah, no, it's one of those trades I think for the next few weeks here, maybe even going into the new year. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. We'll watch out for some more ideas possibly from the energy sector. Michael Noss back with us after the close tonight. We'll see you then.
I'll talk to you then.
Thank you very much, Sir Michael. A little bit.
Sir Michael.
Yeah, I like that. I like the Canadian flavor to that. A little CNQ action in there. No, and it's interesting. I didn't realize it was that big of a short float. I knew there was a bit of one, but look, energy's been strong, no question about it. We were just talking about how you just can't ignore energy these days. It's the same way like Chinese ADRs every single day are going up, but energy, I feel like they're in a much better spot. He mentioned XLE there, and I know CNQ. It's not much of a day trading stock. Don't get me wrong. I like the thesis. I think certainly this one could break out. If I put up a daily chart, you get the 50 and the 200 period merging. But as we were sort of saying earlier, you almost start with like this XOM. The pattern that I sort of noticed with XOM is, okay, well, the last 4 days on the upward trend, look at what it did. The dip, into prior high and go. The dip, this time, pretty much into the prior close and go because it wasn't going anywhere. It was a sideways. It didn't gap up. Then it does gap up, dips into prior close, and goes. So another gap up here. I mean, the prior close is essentially $125. So it kind of feels to me like a little dip into prior close, continue trend. Now, you obviously have to watch out to see what oil futures are doing. You don't want to be fighting the trend if there's like a few dollars to the downside and positive talks coming out of the Middle East. Obviously, then you don't want to just be sitting on a random bid in XOM, but it's got this nice little pattern. When it's gapped up, usually you dip into the prior close, and that's been a good way. If it goes sideways, which is not the case today, you look for maybe a pullback into prior resistance, or prior highs. So I do like XOM here. Looking at that 125, if it can hold on to the open, expecting a bit of a dip buy, at least early on.
Check out, I think, Walmart here today. We'll just see here just where it's trading exactly, where we're going to open up. Yeah, okay, so 80, so 80.70 right here, 80.88. Walmart right now looking to me like it wants to break out as well, breaking higher, 81.65 or so. No earnings to come for a long time. November 19th, they're not going to be talked about for a while. The retail is always for the last sector to come with their reports. But I just thought that this name sort of coiling up here reminded me of when he was talking about XLE looking to break out a little bit. You have Walmart going one way, trying to break out higher, and Costco down here at the 50-period moving average, which you don't get to buy too often on dips, right? And so this time it broke, it went a little lower. So we're right here right now. A name to look at is Costco there. But I think Walmart, if you like Costco, I think this might be the better play, breaking through 81.75 or so on WMT. So I like this play, Walmart right there. Just, I don't know, talking about energy, but we don't talk about Walmart enough, I feel like. Not doing too much, not a great day trading stock either, to be honest with you. But that break, to me, gets something interesting going. So, yeah, I like Walmart. And then, yeah, just on XLE, we've been talking about this name for a while. It hasn't really moved. It's gone sideways. It's not like you've missed the trade. Basically in the same spot it was a year ago, So you haven't missed much. You're not going to get a dividend, crazy, anything like that out of this. You'd rather own the names rather than an ETF. So, but right now, anyways, XOM, gray one, XLE, trying to play catch up. Chevron, another big name here, trying to get higher as well, just trying to break through the 200 period moving average. So if you think something's a little depressed right there, this is an asset that can get going here. Obviously, this is a commodity-driven rally over the last little while. We've seen oil go up to the upside. We've seen gold continuously going. Today, with Brendan mentioned the yield getting back up there to the upside. So we can look at some TLT. We talked about this the other day as well when we had Raider Trader on who liked it, and we've dipped down since. So that might be a good buy as well down here to $94, $95. So, okay, I was just waiting to hear for the call for Adara, but if we are ready then, okay, let's go to Adara.
Upgrade list here. Alibaba getting an upgrade from Macquarie with a $145 price target, and Bernstein upgrading Coupang. So we continue to have Chinese ADRs on watch this week. Cian getting an upgrade from Wells Fargo, and Foot Locker getting upgraded here by Gordon Haskett. Downgrades, two heavyweights here to start this list. We have Apple getting a downgrade from Jefferies Financial with a very specific price target of $212.92. You can get more details on this downgrade in our watch list, in addition to a mixed note on Apple from Mizuho that came out late on Friday. We have Amazon getting a downgrade here from Wells Fargo. More info on that also available in our watch list. American Express getting a price target increase, but a downgrade from JP Morgan Chase, and Humana getting a downgrade here from Jefferies Financial. This name continuing to be on watch here after losing one of its Medicaid stars last week. Jefferies taking their price target from over $500 to $253, guys.
Ooh. Oh no, Jefferies. Yeah, Foot Locker is the one that kind of caught me off guard, I think, a little bit there. It hasn't been going all that well for Foot Locker over the last, I don't know, for a long time. So look, Foot Locker, it's not really at the right level, I think, for like the obvious, hey man, you're at the big support level, let's slap that upgrade on and get it to bounce a little bit. I thought that would be like $20 here on the weekly chart sets that up. If you zoom in though, a little bit, they do have like this 27 level has been a key one the last couple of days. I think that could be